All right, y'all. So let's talk about Yellowjackets, the finale. What just happened? We are very much so getting into the more, I feel, darker parts of Yellowjackets. I feel like the first season was a little dark in my opinion, but we'll get more into that in my recap and review of the season as a whole. But I really feel like we are finally getting into some very, very questionable acts from the teenagers, and also from the adults as well. So before we get any further into it, we will have theory videos for what's coming for season 3. Although season 3 is a little delayed now because of the writer's strike and all of that. And so we don't know when exactly we will get it, if it will be around this time next year or maybe a little bit closer to the summertime. We'll definitely talk about that as well, so stay tuned for that. But let's talk about this finale that was just insane. So let me tell you, we are currently running a giveaway. If you want to enter the giveaway, you just have to be subscribed to our channel and comment below you want to enter the giveaway. I will announce the winner at 28,000 subscribers. Less than 300 subscribers to go for that. It's a pretty good prize, so I think everybody will want to win. But let's talk about this finale that was just insanity. So let's start off with the biggest thing was Javi in the previous episode was left to die in the cold water. We know that Natalie was going to be the one that was supposed to be sacrificed. Of course, Javi was trying to help Natalie escape and all of that. Eventually, he falls into the thin ice water, and then he just freezes to death as Misty tells Natalie, do you want to be the one that dies or just let him die? And we can call it an accident, whatever, right? So we pretty much see that now Javi is taken back to the campgrounds. Travis sees this, he breaks down, and Shauna seems to be taking the initiative of like, this is what we have to do. And I think Shauna is very much so feeling this way, as well as Jackie was the first one that she had to sacrifice and the one that they ate first. And so now Shauna's kind of feeling like she's like a leader of sorts in a way. Back to the adults, we do see that Lottie is still with the whole we have to sacrifice someone. This is the only way. The wilderness is asking for us to feed it, and the only thing we can feed it, as we've always done, is one of us. Of course, Shauna, Misty, Natalie, Thaisa are not really vibing with this, but Van is a little bit turning back to her younger self, where she was kind of like a devoted follower of Lottie, and sort of saying like, no, Thaisa, you know what? This plan that Shauna, Misty, and also Natalie have about locking Lottie back up and asking her, like, doctors or whatever to come take her, let's not do that. That's our friend. Let's help them out. Call them off, but don't tell the others. So now Shauna, Misty, and also Natalie don't know that the people have been called off, and so their plan was to kind of go along with this ritual and sort of wait until they come and take her. But unbeknownst to them, that Van and Thaisa have now called off those people, so nobody's going to come and save them. So the ritual is going to go ahead and go on. We have Walter, who arrives at the compound as well earlier on to help Misty. And we now have Jeff, Callie, and also the police duo arrive. And so now it's a big, like, shit show here at the compound. Back to the teenage selves, we see that they end up cooking Javi. Travis takes the first bite out of the heart, and they all end up eating Javi. We see Coach return as well here, and he's kind of like disgusted at what's going on because he sees Shauna butchering Javi like an animal. Natalie just tells Coach, you're a good person, just go hide out in the tree and live your days there. You don't belong here. This is just a bad place. Coach was trying to get Natalie to come with him because Natalie, in his mind, was the only one that wasn't sort of as dark as the other girls were when it came to things, and sort of maybe had a little light in herself. And that quickly is going to change, and we'll talk more about that towards the ending. Back to the adult self, it turns out that Shauna is going to be the one that's sacrificed. They find out that nobody's coming because Thaisa and Van have called it off. And they say that they are trying to save Lottie and not trying to get her locked up again. They're trying to be friends and there for her. Eventually, we see that Callie comes to save Shauna and shoots Lottie in the arm. And then we see that also the cult member that Natalie had gotten close to as well comes to try and save Lottie. However, she is about to shoot Natalie, it seems. We're not too entirely sure if she was or she wasn't, but Misty's not going to hesitate. She takes a needle that's apparently going to kill the cult member, but Natalie gets in the way and gets stabbed herself. Eventually, we see that Natalie ends up dying, and Misty is so heartbroken at her best friend, she says, being killed by her. And then we see that Natalie does indeed die. Back to the teenage selves, we see that Lottie had chosen Natalie to become the new queen. She says she's not the queen, she's not the leader. It's always been Natalie, and that's who's going to lead them. This kind of rubs off Shauna in a weird way, because she felt she should be the leader, and I think it's because maybe she felt like she was the one that was taking the whole thing with the cannibalism and all of that forward, especially when the whole thing with Jackie. And then eventually we see she is the one that butchers Javi, so she kind of feels a little bit off about everything that happened with Lottie and Natalie when she sort of feels she's the one that's gone through the most and her baby. No, there's some feelings there. She's writing in her notebook, but she doesn't really have time to write all of this because now the Gavin is on fire. She wakens everybody and tells them, hey, we need to get out of here. It's on fire. We need to go. We see that they all end up escaping. And so now the question is, who burned the cabin? Now we pretty much know it's going to be Coach, I feel, because Coach had seen this whole like thing where they're inducting Natalie as the queen or whatever. And he sees Natalie smiling through all of this. So I kind of feel like Coach sees this as they're pretty wicked and crazy now. And he has to take care of them. So he's going to burn them. I also kind of want to go with a theory, an out there theory, that maybe it was Shauna herself. And it's kind of like a red herring that we see Coach with the matches. And Shauna did this because of how she feels everything that happened with Natalie now being a queen. And maybe wants to have Natalie be tested if she is indeed a true leader. And maybe in season 3 we sort of see these factions form where we see them divide Natalie, Shauna, maybe even Lottie. And we see all the other girls see where they're going to go with. You know, that's my theory. I'll talk more about that in my theory video that's going to come out. But that's just my thought process with that whole cabin burning. In the end of the adults, we saw that Natalie died. We saw that Walter took care of the Jessica Roberts situation as well as the Adam situation. He even kills one of the officers. And so we have all of these loose ends that are now very much so going to need to be resolved in season 3, and I will talk about that in my theory videos about how that could look. One thing we don't know, however, yet is the big question of who Pit Girl was, and the one that we saw in the first episode of season 1. Everybody was thinking that was going to happen in this season. It seems that that's a little bit more down the road, and it's like when I saw that first episode, it really is when they're really more advanced in the rituals and all of that. We do have one more year of being stuck out here, and so I think that we definitely are going to see that maybe at the end of season 3 or season 4. They apparently want 5 seasons, but you know, we're gonna see how it goes. But I thought that the ending was very much so great. I was excited seeing it, and I'm definitely pumped to see what comes next. I think it was Coach that burned it, but I could definitely see that other theory of it being Shauna, who was kind of feeling some sort of way. But we'll see what happens whether it was Coach or whether it was Shauna. I do have some thoughts about that. And also now that Walter is in the mix of things, Natalie is gone. It's going to be interesting to see how the adults go forward, like what comes next. They do have some loose ends, of course, and I'm pretty sure that the other detective and police officer is not going to rest. He is definitely going to want to bring things to justice. And Callie looks like she is definitely unhinged now after everything. So we'll see what happens. Lottie looks like she's going to be locked up again. And it looks like Van is going to become a regular as well. So definitely going to go into the 3rd season looking to see how it all gets resolved. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on the finale. What did you think about it all? And as always, that is going to do it for me. We will talk theories as well. So stay tuned for that video pretty soon. And I'll see all of you next time. Like I said, we are currently running our giveaway. All you have to be is subscribed and comment below you want to enter the giveaway. That gets you an entry, and we'll announce the winners at 28,000 subscribers. So as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.